So, artists you've toured with in the past, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, yeah, singing background. One of my all-time favorites, and I mean, he's like a legend, is Stevie Wonder. That experience just changed my life because clearly he is, I think, one of the greatest living musicians that I think there's not a person on the planet I think that isn't familiar, with Stevie Wonder. And just learning from his example, man, I mean, he approaches music as though it's his first time performing, which is completely refreshing. Um, from him to, let's see, Aretha Franklin, I've done some work behind her. Um, Jamie Foxx.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Quite a list, man.
yeah, Kelly Price.
Ooh.
Um, gosh, there's so many people. I
So,
think some of my.
just real quick, how do these opportunities come up? Like, how do you become a background singer for these artists or anything like that?
Well, a lot of times it has everything to do with whatever the event is or their music directors primarily. And usually if they're in a specific city or if they're having like a casting call or in my case, a lot of it was just based off of being connected to a lot of different people that work behind the scenes, so to speak, in music. And they know that, hey, we need singers for X, Y, and Z. They would just, hey, call and shoot an email, say, "Are you available?"
Oh, so
So,
so, so this wasn't like a backup singer for a tour or anything. This was like they were coming to do an event, and you were available to.
some of them were tours. Some of them were like a series of certain events. Like, I know for Stevie specifically, he did a lot of different events, like on the East Coast, and so for a lot of those different events, I helped sing with the other background singers for. So,
That's awesome, man.
yeah,
So
thank you.
did you get to like talk to them and like learn from them for a little bit, or?
Oh yeah, that I think that's the most fun part, really getting to know them as the individuals they are. Granted, you're at first kind of like, oh wow, this is Stevie Wonder, but really getting to have those conversations, those candid moments where you really get a sense of, wow, he's Stevie Wonder, but he still is human.
Hmm.
you know, I think those are some of the most amazing moments. Stevie Wonder specifically, he's absolutely hilarious. Like, he's a comedian, and I think most people wouldn't necessarily know that.
Uh huh.
But he's extremely knowledgeable, not just about music, but about life. He's filled with wisdom. And so having those conversations where they can just give their advice on how to handle your career, certain choices that you should make opposed to some you shouldn't, and, just their personal take on how to really navigate having a music career. I think those are life lessons that I try to ask any and every artist that I get the privilege to work with.
That's good that they were able to lend their expertise and help you out. Because
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times this may just be my view from the outside that once you get big enough, like you don't even really like mess with the smaller people. But it's good to know
Yeah.
that they were able to lend some advice.
Yeah. And contrary to popular belief, a lot of the biggest stars, they're some of the most humble people. Like, they're extremely humble. They're very approachable, and it's so funny. They look forward to people that don't approach them from the angle of being, the big superstars that they are. It's super funny, but I find that to be true all the time.
That's funny.
Yeah,
That's real funny.
yeah, yeah.
So what are your goals for the rest of 2016? We know you got the Suitcase EP coming out in mid June.
Hmm.
What else do you have coming up? Any more touring dates after that is released, or
Yeah, definitely more touring dates. And I'm going to be doing a lot more of. I'm trying to do this online series of performances with a lot of different artists. So I'm working on that. I want that to kind of be like a summer series thing where we're performing covers and some original music. But my main emphasis is really just going to be pushing my EP to radio, to other cities. That's my primary focus for 2016.
I also noticed you had a YouTube channel.
Hmm.
How do you think newer media is going to affect the music industry in the future, such as YouTube in specifically? And
Well, it's all. Uh huh.
I was gonna say
Oh,
even like Pandora and Spotify and stuff. More people listening to that, less so radio and television.
hmm. Well, it's definitely affecting it. Like today, there are all these different things, especially on a songwriting tip. All these things concerning, giving songwriters and artists their royalties and publishing royalties and all these different things. So it's making music more and more accessible, and that's I think a good and a bad thing in the sense of it's even it's even more easy for an artist to expose and really launch a career online just because there's almost an unlimited amount of channels to share your music or stream your music through. But it also is a challenge because um, on the side where music is a profession and this is someone's income, it's hard to make money off of music because it is so exposed, it is so tangible. But I try to look at it from the angle that with all these different new channels like YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, SoundCloud, on and on, for an artist like me that presently is independent, it's allowing me to really share my music to everyone, and it's very easy for it to circulate. So I think with anything great, once it develops a consistent traction and it's like almost like a bandwagon effect. If you see the majority of people are tuning here, you're like, oh wow, let me check this out. Oh, that's dope. Let me, share it. That really plays in the artist's favor because it begins to really build their fan base and their following. So I try to always look at it from that angle. I think that it's really cool. But I can see how, long term, it does make, I guess, that facet of making money of the music business. It really proposes, new challenges.
Yeah, I guess the model is using the music more as a marketing tool to put
Hmm.
yourself and your brand out there and make money really on the back end through like apparel
Yeah,
and stuff like that. And touring is
yeah,
still probably pretty good.
yeah. Touring is definitely.
So, what is your favorite part about touring? And is it the performances, the people you meet, the connection with the people?
Wow. I definitely think I'm a huge sociable person, so I'm happy meeting people and the performance. I think as a kid, there are videos that they're like blackmail videos now of me 2 and 3 years old performing, and that's something that I've always just loved, like getting on stage before audience of people, and I kind of compare to there's like a sensibility of power or command that you have as a performer. You're on stage at that mic, everybody is tuned into you. You're able to really dictate kind of what they're going to think, what they're going to feel, their response to you. It's a pretty powerful task. It's very equivalent to being a minister, a preacher, a politician, a teacher. You're standing at the front with all eyes on you, and you're
Hmm.
kind of really have a moment to influence, encourage, uplift somebody, whatever. And that I think is an amazing, amazing facet of touring that is one of my favorites because even watching other artists all the time, some of our favorites, we love when we listen to their music. audibly on iTunes or Google Play or wherever you listen to music. But it's nothing like getting tickets and going to see them live.
For
It
sure.
just yeah.
There's nothing like that live show. There's nothing like it.
Nothing like it, and I think that that's so fun for me because every city is going to be different, every audience is going to be different. But then following the stage when you're able to interact and meet people that have traveled near and far, and oh, I've been following your career for so long, and I got your first song. Moments like that, those are priceless moments. And I love, love, love meeting people. Love it.
And I'm sure that's something that keeps you going too.
Absolutely, absolutely, because it's very easy to, you know, I think with any major career, especially entertainment, because it's so many people doing it and it's super competitive, it's very easy to get somewhat discouraged from time to time. But feeling that energy from people that really love what you're doing, it's like, okay, I'm doing this for the right reasons, you know.